We have the new Alamogordo High School head football coach, A.J. Cisco, here with us today. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Charles. How are you?
Fantastic. Happy to have you here. How's the week been? I know we chatted about it just a second ago when you came in, but I got to think things are going about 1,000,000 miles an hour right now.
It's been a whirlwind, but this community's been open arms. Very grateful. It's great to be a part of such a great community. It's so welcoming. Community's so welcoming to me and my family. We're really, truly excited and honored to be here, and hope to do a lot of great things in this place. We're excited to do a lot of great things in this community and for this high school and this football program.
Now, I think everybody's excited to get to know you. We also have Alamogordo Public Schools Athletic Director Jerrett here with us. Coach, obviously, Coach Cisco was hired about 2 weeks ago now, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, but obviously you got to be excited about bringing Coach Cisco into the fold here.
Yeah, absolutely. We feel like we hit a home run with Coach Cisco. We were looking for that guy that was going to bring something to the football program that instills, that tremendous sense of pride and knows how to build a program systematically, and AJ fits that bill. So we're really excited about what he's bringing to our community.
All right, well, we'll talk about some of your coaching experience here in a second, but you obviously you've got a long lineage of high school football here in New Mexico from being a player and on up. Where did you play football? Where did you grow up at here in New Mexico?
I was born and raised basically in Roswell, New Mexico. Went to Roswell High School. Grew up in the field house. My dad was the defense coordinator for Coach Bradley for many, many years in the 80s and 90s at Roswell High School, and I was a little kid running around at practice, summertime. Basically lived at the field house with them, kind of grew up knowing this is what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be, and played high school at Roswell High. Got the opportunity to play for my dad. Won a state championship with him as the head coach, and which was a special deal, and then went on and played at Eastern New Mexico University. Go Greyhounds. Finished my career and got a chance to go back to my alma mater and start coaching. Started out there, and then me and him kind of ventured over to the west side of the state and ended up in Hatch for the last 9 years, and we got to win a state championship with each other as coaching, and that was a pretty special moment. Now we're going to try to do something special like that here in Alamogordo.
What is it? I mean, it's one of those things that, you obviously learn a lot from your dad, but, getting to the point where you guys are, kind of equals here late in your career where, you guys have been going to Final Fours and being so successful in Hatch. What has that progression been like for you? Has it been a lot of fun? It's
been a blast. It's been truly something that I've always wanted to do, was to coach with my father, and something we always said we're going to do is I was going to be the head coach, he's going to be I was going to be in charge of him for once. So I get to kind of tell him what to do every now and then he can yell at me for calling something stupid. But it's exciting. It's an honor. It's something we've dreamed about, and I've dreamt about since I was a little kid, having the opportunity to do, and couldn't think of another place, any better place than Alamogordo to do it. It's a one-horse town that's got a lot of things going in the right direction.
Yeah, and of course now get your head coaching job here in Alamogordo. You've been a defensive coordinator. You've been an offensive coordinator. Do you kind of fancy yourself one way or the other, or just football coach?
Offensively, man. Nowadays, it's a lot easier to score points than it is to stop people. So, but you can't win anything. You're not going to win anything. That's one of the reasons why we've been successful in Hatch, is we pride ourselves on being physically aggressive and tough defensively, and we're going to put up points, but we're going to play a lot of defense, and we practice defense and get after it, and our kids buy into it. And we still go back to the old adage that Coach Bradley instilled when I was a kid running around, that defense wins championships. So we pride ourselves on that stuff. But we're going to try to put up points and be creative in how we do it and do a lot of different things. But I've been doing offensive stuff for the past 9 years or so. So
yeah. Mr. Perry, I'm going to ask you, obviously with the committee obviously meets and interviews, but you're involved in that process. Maybe what for you personally, what stood out with Coach Cisco that you felt like he was the right guy to take over Alamogordo?
Well, he has a high IQ. I mean, his football IQ in particular is he has a very high IQ in regard to football, and he knows the game. I love the idea about the systematic approach, starting out with our little guys, in the youth leagues all the way up through the middle school to the high school, and he knows how to do that. He's been there, done that, and so we're very excited about that component. And then he's electrical, he's got this sense of static engagement, if you will. He knows how to teach kids how to be physical and how to engage, and not just competing, but to winning. And not everybody knows that art of being a champion, and he obviously does. So there was a lot of things that stood out, and we love the idea about him bringing his family and being family centered, and just the story that he talked about, being a little kid and running around the field house with Jim Bradley and Jack Cisco, and those iconic people, Roan House, and all of those guys that we all know as New Mexico football players and coaches. I mean, this is where he comes from. So we feel like it's a huge win, and we're just really excited about him being here with us.
Yeah. What do you feel like maybe the biggest thing that your dad imparted to you as a coach that maybe you'll feel like is going to help you the most as you become a head coach?
He imparted a lot of things. We spent a lot of times. He taught me the toughness, the discipline, the responsibility, the accountability, and those are the same things we teach in our kids. And in this football program is our kids are going to do what's right all the time. And one of the things that this community can depend on is our kids are going to know the definition of self-discipline, and they're going to believe in it. And if anybody wants to ask them that definition, they should be able to recite it to them personally about doing the right thing all the time. And we're going to hold them accountable, both in the classroom, in the community, and on the field. We're proud of that.
And is that that was going to be one of my next questions. The biggest thing that you want to impart to the kids when you I don't know if you had a chance to meet with any of the players yet.
I have. I got to meet those kids the other Monday morning. Started watching them work out. Started getting to know some names. Spending some time with them, and they're getting after it, man. Those coaches, they're getting after it. They're getting after it in the weight room, on the field. It's exciting. There's 45, 50 kids over there, and we're excited what could take place in this place. And we're going to meet with them next week and really start engaging in what this program is and what it's all about, because it's not just an August to December thing. It's a January, year-round, 12-month deal.
Yeah, but the self-discipline and making sure you're taking care of your own business, does that feel like the biggest thing you want your kids to be aware of when you start coaching them?
Absolutely. We're going to create kids that this community is going to be proud of. And this community is going to be proud of those kids that play in this program. We want our kids, when they're finished with this program, to be better, to be grown men, to be more productive society. They're going to be great husbands. They're going to be great fathers. They're going to be productive members of society. And that's something that this community can trust. That's what this program has been built on. It's how it's been established 30, 40 years ago, is that toughness, hard work, and discipline.
And I would feel like you're also coming into it, and this is, I feel like, a little bit different than some of the other coaches that have come in. Alamogordo's had some success recently, and you're building off of that. That's got to be a positive coach. I know some coaches like to start from scratch, but to come into a program that's had some success recently, that's got to be a nice thing as well. Right?
Oh, it's awesome. These kids know what winning's like, and they understand what it's like, and it's a tough thing to kind of instill. And we're going to try to build on the success that's been laid the past few years, and the success this community's felt and the program's felt. We're going to try to build on that and expand it and try to make this a great environment, and one that other communities throughout this state relish and want to be like, and come down and visit and say that's the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, and Mr. Perry, obviously it's something we've obviously talked about a lot, Black and Gold Initiative and a number of things, play like a champion and
right.
Many of the things that, you try to instill on all the kids and all the sports, and it's, it certainly feels like it's starting to catch on a lot more. We've seen the success just this year with a lot of the different programs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the goal is obviously to keep that going and make it a consistent thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you set the expectations, there's no doubt that kids will respond. You have a high expectation, they're going to get on board. And AJ fits in line with that whole mentality. And the proof is in the pudding. So you can go back and you can look. It's not just about football. And that's another thing that we're really excited about AJ. When he came in and he was selling himself, it was the big picture. It was about building a program, a systematic athletic program, and not just football. And I really like that, because that's what we've been trying to preach. But, the proof is in the pudding. You can go back and look at this last week. We've asked kids to not only compete, but we want to win at the highest level. I'm going to give a couple blurbs out there, but here's the deal. So our softball team, they lost to Berlin early in the season. They come back and, they sweep them this week, and they go in extra innings to win. The track meet, we had 722 participants this week at the Roll of Buck. Our boys take first, our girls take second. We have multiple state qualifiers. Our kids aren't just competing, they're winning. Same thing with our tennis team. Our tennis team, they did a great job in Goddard, so they've stepped it up. And then, of course, the highlight of the weekend is our baseball team. Those are the kind of things that go in the history book. Our baseball team, we go 11 innings. We play the number one team in the state, and we go 11 innings, and we suck it up, and we win. Yeah. And so we go ranked from 5th to 1st, and here we go. And so our kids are responding to what we want, to what we expect as a school and as a community. And that's what AJ, he has that same mentality. We're not just doing this to play. We're not just doing this to compete. We're doing it to win. Yeah. And I think when we do that, amazing things are going to happen. And so he fits very much. Him and I clicked, automatically because of the same mentality. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think more importantly, and this is something I talk about with almost every single coach, is most of these kids they're maybe some of them will get to play college ball. There's maybe 10 on a team or something like that that'll get that opportunity, but most of them, this is one of those life building opportunities where you learn the things that'll help you out when you go through life. And I know there are some people out there that kind of scoff at that, but I take it seriously, and I know you guys take it seriously because there's a lot of things that playing football, and obviously the responsibility of doing that and going to school, and for some of these kids having a job. All that together, it plays into it. And I'm sure that's something that you've seen with a coach, or as being a coach over the years, that it plays into, right?
Oh, football is the greatest indicator of future success in life. And we use football as a building and teach moment. Coach Bradley back in the day and Coach Cisco's kind of, we as a football coach, nothing's ever really yours. You kind of take and steal and make it your own. And but we do character building daily. Coach Cisco takes pride in that and motivation. We find ways to teach our kids, and not necessarily about football, but about being members in life and being productive members of society. And Coach Cisco really takes pride in that, and he has books and stuff, and we read coaches' books and all kinds of stuff about that. But football is the greatest thing to prepare kids for that. And I believe athletics is the best thing because you're going to learn a lot of life lessons being involved in athletics. And we want these kids in Alamogordo to be involved in a lot of things. I don't want football players. I want football players to play basketball, to play baseball, get involved in other sports and kind of build this entire, like Coach Perry said, this entire athletic program into a big-time athletic program.
Yeah, and we like to see a lot of kids. And I'm sure, coaching at a smaller school, 4A at Hatch, which I should say smaller. They're only a classification below Alamogordo.
Yeah, they're 4A now. They've grown over the years.
I was used to Hatch obviously being like a 2A program a few years ago, but of course at schools like that, kids have to play multiple sports, or you don't have enough kids to go out there and play sports.
Absolutely.
So it's encouraging to see kids go out there and play it, and I know a lot of college recruiters look at that as well. That kids are well rounded when they
absolutely, and it's a good thing for them to experience different things. Like you said, a lot of kids are not going to go on to college and experience, so make high school an experience for them. Let them get experience new things. A lot of times in Hatch, when we take our kids somewhere, we try to make an experience. They're going to go places they might not ever go or never been before. Our kids used to get a kick out when we went to Albuquerque. They're like, "Hey, this is Albuquerque." So we want to make an experience for kids. High school's a fun time. We want to get those kids ready to go on and challenge themselves and do things. But I want them to get involved in their sports. I've spent a lot of time talking to the different coaches here in Alamogordo who are great people. Coach Perry's a similar great staff of coaches in this school district, and it's an exciting time to be a Tiger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about what kind of football coach that you are. Do you consider you really intense, or are you maybe not as intense out there in the field? Anybody that hasn't seen you out there coaching before, how would you describe yourself as a coach?
They're going to see a bunch of high energy.
Yeah.
They're going to see a bunch of guys that are high energy, that are getting after it, that show a passion for the game, and kids feed off that. If you see a bunch of guys standing around just kind of walking around, kids fall into that mode, and we don't want that. We want our kids excited. Football's a fun time, and practice can get long, and being honest, we're going to find ways to break it up, make it fun for the kids. They'll do more for you when they know you're invested into them and you have a lot of trust in them, and let them kind of do things on their own and experience it. But if you come out to practice, you're going to see a bunch of guys running around yelling, screaming, having fun, high-fiving kids, chest-bumping kids. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. Offensively, are you set on a certain scheme that you like to run, or are you one of those coaches that'll look at the personnel and base off of that what you're going to do?
We'll adapt to the kids we have, no doubt. One thing that I told them in the interview, we're going to be physical. We're going to run the football, and we're going to be mean and physical up front. We're going to develop some linemen that are going to get after you. That's every program I've been involved in that's been successful has developed an offensive line, and they've been physical, and they run the ball further. They're going to get after people. With that being said, we're going to use what we have. We got much out there. We're going to spread people out. We're going to make people have to defend 53 yards wide. We're going to do what's best for our kids. We're going to put our kids in a position to be successful. We won a state championship 2 years in Hatch. Didn't throw the ball a whole lot. Ran it down people's throats. This year had some kids, spread them out. Did a lot more different things. We're going to be creative in what we do, but we're going to run the triple option. I'm a huge believer in the triple option. We're going to sell out on it, and we've evolved it from starting out in just a pro I formation to now we're in shotgun, and we got motion and all kinds of stuff going on, and we window dress it with everything. And the kids like it. It's a great way to get kids to multiple touches on the football.
Yeah, and triple option. These days, people think triple option. They think Air Force. They think bunch formation. But these days, the option offense can be just so many things.
We find ways to get creative. We'll find ways to invent it and do something different and crazy, and let the kids have fun and let them label it and do all those things. But the kids love it. The options. It's a fun time. It's a way to do a lot with a lot of kids and make other kids who are 17 be self-disciplined and be disciplined to play it. And kids have to work a lot on it. It's hard to replicate and hard to simulate and practice.
Yeah. Defensively, obviously, we talked about scheme on offense, but defense, again, is it just, you got a certain amount of linemen, you need to spread it out. The thing with defenses these days, there's so many teams that are running the spread, you kind of have to base it on what you're going up against each week, isn't it?
Absolutely. You will change the defensive game plan weekly. based on what you're going at. You'll play teams like Goddard who are in the double wing and are going to hand it off 50 times a game and hit you in the mouth, and you're going to load the box up a little bit, and you're going to go the next week and you're going to play Artesias and being a 2x2 set and airing it out and throwing it all over the place. So you're going to identify and adjust week to week, but we're going to base it out of 50. It's something I've grown up with, and you can go back to the old days of Clovis in the 50s with Coach Roanhouse and Coach Kilmer and Coach Bodie and those guys, and it kind of dates itself back. But being around and talking to a lot of coaches around the state, the 50 kind of is the easy way to adapt to different types of offenses that you're going to see week to week. Nobody's ever the same.
Yeah. And Mr. Perry, mentioned just a little while ago in talking about building up the program from the little guys on up. What kind of thoughts do you have in your mind in terms of making that a more seamless transition, from the little kids to middle school to the high school? Because you want that continuity, I'm sure, right?
We want everybody to be excited. We want those little kids. I want to get involved in the youth program, let them see me. We want those kids excited. We want them to come to the stadium on Friday night wearing black and gold, watching the fireworks go off, the team take the field, the band playing the fight song. We want those kids to just dream of that. We want to create a kind of a walk of champs and get the little elementary kids lined up and get our high school kids to go down to the elementary schools and do things like that, be involved in same thing, transition those guys to the middle school, be involved in the middle school guys, running our terminology, running our stuff at all three middle schools, and getting those kids up here in the summer and start building those kids when they're 8th graders coming up as freshmen and starting inducting them into what we do, and it's a smooth transition.
Yeah, Mr. Perry, I think when you hear that, that's
exciting. That's what we're talking. That's black and gold pride right there. So absolutely, very excited about that whole thing.
Yeah, and we'll certainly look forward to that. And I think the other aspect of it, and we've talked about it with a lot of different sports, is creating community excitement and things like that. I mean, in your experience, I mean, obviously winning is the number one thing to create community excitement.
Winning cures all.
Yeah, winning obviously helps with a lot of that. But in your experience, what are some other things you felt that you've seen in Hatch and in Roswell that have really helped that and improved that within a community?
It's letting the community know that you're there and that you're doing it for the right reasons. It's not about just winning on a Friday night. Obviously, winning brings the people out and it does those things, and that's easy cure. But when people see that you're vested in the community, you're participant in the community and your family, and my family's going to be down here, they're excited to come down here. They know we're in it for the long haul. I'm not using this as a jumping stone, moving somewhere else. I want to be here for a long term and get the community to support us and make it an experience. I want Friday nights to be an experience where the town shuts down. This is a one-horse town. It's a perfect opportunity for that to happen, where you try to go to a business at 4:30 and the doors are closed and they're already trying to find a way to get into the stadium for that Friday night game.
Yeah. When you see things like the Black and Gold Initiative that Mr. Perry and the folks have put in here, I mean, is that something that made maybe Alamogordo a little bit more attractive to you than some other coaching jobs?
Absolutely. What Coach Perry and this administration, the community have done with this Black and Gold Initiative to upgrade facilities and to show an importance on athletics and to get this community to buy in is a huge deal. It made this job much more attractive to see the community support, and the community is willing to support because they know the importance of athletics can have on young kids and on teenagers. So by sitting around and talking to people when I was going through the interview process and walking around seeing the flags flying and the going to McDonald's and seeing the drive-through window with the Tigers on, I was like, man, this is starting to be a really big thing down here, and I want to be a part of it. It was an easy sell. They didn't have to sell me on a whole lot of things to get me down here.
Yeah, and Coach Perry, I mean, I know that maybe that wasn't necessarily a thought process when you were putting together the Black and Gold Initiative because you want to keep the coaches that you've got here, but to know that, for folks that maybe are on the outside looking in, to see Alamogordo as an attractive option, for athletics, that's got to be a major bonus on top of everything that's come with the Black and Gold Initiative, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, when you start to develop that sense of pride, I mean, it goes back to the law of attraction. And you create a positive environment, you're going to be surrounded by positive people. And so that's I think that absolutely it's been a huge attribute, and it's obviously attracted some really great people. And I mean, that list is long. You can go through our coaching staff right now and see that we have the best coaches in the state of New Mexico. I really do believe that. And it's been a process. It's taken us some time to get there, but we're there. Yeah. And so we're poised. We're poised on a lot of different levels. Now what we got to do is we got to keep it energized. We got to keep the community bought in. We got to keep our kids excited. We got to make sure that we motivate each other. We got to make sure that we surround ourselves with that positive vibe, if you will. And so this is something we've been working for 3 or 4 years, and it's like Coach said, it really genuinely is a great time to be a Tiger right now.
Well, Coach, obviously the next thing probably on the schedule for you guys, I mean, you've got a ton of things on your schedule coming up, moving your family and all that stuff, but when summer workouts and stuff come around, I mean, are you a big 7-on-7 guy? Do you like that stuff, or is that just something to keep the kids active during the summer? I mean, how do you?
I like 7-on-7, just for the fact it gets our kids competing. I want kids competing all the time. Not for necessarily what you can get out of it. It's just the competition stuff. Get those kids compete, make them personal, and then they're going to get vested. They've got to put a vested interest into this, and we're going to do it all the time. We're going to find local schools. We're going to find schools from around the state, get together, and it might just be meeting up in Cloudcroft and getting in the cool pines and relaxing, cool off a little bit. But it's going to be something we take pride in. Our kids take pride in being competitive at everything we do. We're going to teach our kids there's winners, losers, and we want to be winners.
Yeah. And it seems like also, in terms of learning from, obviously, Coach Cisco and I'm sure, the opportunity to take these kids to camps and things like that, that'll be a big thing for you coming up in the summer as well.
Absolutely. Get these kids, I want to do whatever I can to help these kids out. If I'm getting them exposure, taking them to camps, combines, whatever we can do as a football program, as a community to support these kids and their future endeavors is a big deal to me. A lot of times we're about the only hope these kids have, and we got to kind of bust our tails to get it done. But we're going to do it. We're going to find some camps to take these kids to, get them out, get them seen, let people know who we are. We don't want to just stay in our little shell. We want people to know we're Alamogordo football. This is what it is now. This is who we are. Come find us.
Well, before we get out of here, I don't know if you have a message to the community you want to make sure you get out to them. Let anything maybe I didn't talk about that you'd like them to know about you before we finish up the interview for today.
I just want to thank them for the opportunity to be here and involved in such a great community. The support and love I've received from the people around here has been truly humbling. And my family is more than excited to get down here. We'll be down here in about a month or so, and we're excited to be a part of this, and it's a good thing. And I want the community to know that they're welcome here. This is a community thing. It's not a one program versus another. We're here all for the same reason, for kids and their success. But it's a great time to be Tiger. We want people to be proud to be a Tiger and be proud to wear that black and gold. And I'm wearing it all the time, and I'm loving it all the time.
All right, Coach Perry, any final thoughts on the hiring of Coach Cisco? Obviously, you're very excited about bringing Coach Cisco.
Yeah, community just needs to get ready because we're getting ready to take it to a whole different level.
All right, we'll look forward to it. Obviously, but we've got a few months till football season, but you know what? It's going to be here before you know it. And you probably say football seasons all the time.
It's 12 months a year most of the time.
There you go.
You can go watch basketball and baseball in the off season a little bit.
There you go. Coach Cisco, congratulations, and thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it.